Welcome to Viking MMA. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Sean.
So we just got done watching a sick and stacked card, UFC 173, Renan Barão and TJ Dillashaw. Wow.
Holy shit.
That was an amazing card. Obviously, TJ Dillashaw with the Cinderella story.
Huge underdog.
Huge underdog. Stood with him the whole time. Didn't really even utilize his wrestling.
His boxing was unreal.
Dwayne Ludwig.
Yep.
So we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, and then we'll discuss some of the upcoming pay-per-view events.
Some big fights coming up.
Absolutely, including the two-title fight pay-per-view UFC 175. Chris Weidman defending his belt against a non-Anderson Silva fighter for the first time. That's exciting. Machida
on the new weight class. He's looking great.
Yeah, he looks really sexy. Back to UFC 173. Rocked him in the first round. You already know what happened. Everybody knows.
If you don't know what happened, I don't know why you're listening to this, because you're not a true MMA fan.
Yeah, I agree.
Dillashaw just so much quicker. Like, I never thought in a million years you'd see Dillashaw dancing around Renan Barão, making him look like not the champion that he is. People were talking about him being the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world.
Dana White said in his vlog, his video blog, I think personally, Renan Barão is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. And he cited many examples. The fact that he hasn't lost in, I think it's 9 years. For all you internet trolls, don't quote me on that. I don't know that that's the exact number since his last defeat. But he was 34-0 in his last 34 fights. He's now 34-2. Dana White was saying that he was the best pound-for-pound fighter because of the fact that he has never been on his back in the UFC, and he hasn't lost in 9 years, and
And just the class of fighters that he's fought, he ran through that division pretty easily.
Absolutely.
He's never even broke a sweat. I mean, he's destroyed Uriah Faber twice.
Yeah.
Who else did he fight? He beat Scott Jorgensen, he said.
He beat Scott Jorgensen. I think that was in WEC.
Oh, he beat Michael McDonald.
Submitted Michael McDonald.
Eddie Wineland.
Spinning back kick knockout of Eddie Wineland. Submitted Brad Pickett after beating him up, standing up and striking with him. He's run through all the top fighters in the bantamweight division, and he just got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, me and Patrick had been talking that Dillashaw was an up-and-coming fighter. We were really excited for him. Gave him zero chance to win this fight.
I'll admit it. Zero chance. I was laughing that my friend was going to put money, all of his money on TJ Dillashaw, and now I look like the fool. I'm eating crow.
We were standing for 10 minutes after the fight, staring like we watched a train wreck or something like that. Just could not believe that happened.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what he did to Renan Barão. He stood with him. He rocked him with a big right in the first round. I thought the fight was going to be over. Renan Barão recovered. Joe Rogan was mentioning that his eyes rolled back Renan Barão's, and he looked like he was out for a minute. TJ Dillashaw proceeded to beat the shit out of him, standing up. I think he attempted maybe a couple takedowns in the fight, but for the most part just looked quicker on his feet. He was moving his head. He was switching stances from orthodox to southpaw. He was working angles for striking, for his leg kicks, for his punches. Just very dynamic, whereas Renan Barão looked very static and was standing stationary for the remainder of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, Dillashaw looked so much faster. He with Dwayne Ludwig said that he's probably the most receptive to all his teachings and stuff. They got a good bond going, and it showed in that fight. He was twice as fast through 3 times as many punches. I think the percentages were I think Dillashaw was up until close to 60% accuracy, and then
punches landed or strikes landed
3-1 punches landed. It was just.
And Renan Barão was at about a third, 33% of his strikes landed. It was insane. TJ Dillashaw was. I never expected this. Him being an elite wrestler. I thought that was going to be, if he was going to beat Renan Barão, that he was going to utilize his wrestling to do so. Instead, He stood with him and mocked the current champion.
Hands were down at his waist. Dipping his chin
dancing. In the 4th round, I think it was, his hands were down, and he was just, utilizing his footwork, I should say, and smiling, scoffing almost at the champion, saying, "You're beat."
I mean, the monkey style, I don't know what the fuck it is, but apparently it's just beating the goddamn shit out of Hennon Brown for 5 rounds, because that was amazing. I'm going to have to look up what monkey style is, because that is, he looked good, man.
He looked amazing. Moving on. Snooze Fest, Daniel Cormier versus Dan Henderson. Congratulations to Daniel Cormier for his first finish against a non-Starbucks barista in the UFC. Congratulations.
He looked good, though. I mean, DC looked good, man.
He did.
The wrestling was just far and away better than a former... was he an Olympic wrestler, too?
He was.
Dan Henderson? Age, I think, had a factor in it, but the weight difference was huge. Henderson weighed in at 199 to, DC's 206, and I'm sure he was probably up to like 235 after he ate that bucket of chicken that Henderson gave him.
And rehydrated, yes. Yeah. He absolutely manhandled Dan Henderson, and like you said, Sean, Dan Henderson is old, but and maybe past his prime. He manhandled him. He threw him around in the 1st round, laid on him. It wasn't the most exciting fight.
I think I was out of respect for that H-bomb.
Absolutely,
you always got to look out for that. But yeah, it wasn't the most exciting fight.
No, and that's what makes Daniel Cormier. He's an intelligent fighter. When he fought Frank Mir, he even admitted that he didn't do as well as he could because he was afraid to utilize his wrestling against Mir and take him down because he was afraid of that guard. Yeah, that guard of Mir. So he did not utilize his wrestling against Mir, did not make that mistake against Dan Henderson. And he looked very good against Roy Nelson standing. It's obviously pretty impossible to knock out Roy Nelson with that iron chin of his, but he looked great picking him apart from the outside and also respecting Roy Nelson's the power in his overhand right.
I definitely feel more confident in DC, though. Like, I wasn't sure how he'd handle like some of the higher class in that weight division. But I'm interested to see who he goes up against next. Jones has got Gustafsson next, so he's obviously got to have one more fight up there.
They're both tied up. Yeah, you're right.
It'll be interesting to see who they pair him up. It's got to be a top 5 fight. Does he wait? I don't think that's the smartest idea, but he might try to stay healthy and try to work his way up into the Jones fight.
Yeah, I'd like to see him against. You had mentioned Anthony Johnson is paired up against.
It is Lil Nog.
Lil Nog. That's right.
UFC on Fox 12.
Barring an unforeseen incident where Little Nog ducks out. I shouldn't say that. Gets injured.
So rumored was Glover Teixeira fighting Rashad Evans next. So it kind of puts Cormier in kind of a weird spot. Like, who is he going to fight next? You have Anthony Johnson fighting Lil Nog. And you go beyond that, the fights don't look too impressive. I mean, could he go up against like a Phil Davis, I guess?
He could go against Phil Davis. Phil Davis is currently ranked number 7, and obviously he just beat number 6. Yes. I was going to say that Daniel Cormier just beat number 6, Dan Henderson, tonight, and he'll probably go down in rankings. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with Cormier. Like you said, Gustafsson being tied up with Jones, I think he's getting the next title shot. Dana White did confirm that, and then after that, the winner of Gustafsson and Jones will face Daniel Cormier now. So Rashad Evans fighting Glover Teixeira, number 2 and 3 in light heavyweight division. What does Daniel Cormier do? Who's he going to fight?
Do you wait? I mean,
wait or fight Phil Davis.
You're looking at at least 6 months if he waits. And then that's barring like, God forbid someone gets injured. Like in training and stuff. Then you're looking. It could be a year before we see that fight.
I would actually be more interested in seeing Rashad Evans fight Daniel Cormier like he was supposed to on this card.
Absolutely.
Rather than seeing Glover Teixeira fight Rashad Evans, just because I want to see people are going to legitimize Daniel Cormier now as if he wasn't already a legitimate threat to John Jones's title.
Yeah, you almost want to have him fight someone that's coming off a victory to, hype the fight, but also it's like you're fighting a guy who's just lost a fight and is ranked below you. He's in a tough spot.
And that's why I would like to see him fight Rashad. Rashad came off of, he's coming off of a victory against Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, that was nothing. That was
a walk in the park. I really actually would rather have they matched up Anthony Johnson with Daniel Cormier. So,
hey, you never know. Little Nog gets hurt.
Cormier
ducks all of a sudden
out.
Steps in.
I love that.
Beautiful. Let's keep our fingers crossed for a little Nog choking on a fucking, what do Brazilians eat?
I don't know. Bullets? No, I don't. Stupid. It's dumb. The carjacking, Shogun Rua carjacked. They even took his shirt and pants.
In his own country, man. Come on,
in
man.
Brazil, near Rio de Janeiro. So that was the fight. Dominant performance against UFC Pride and Strikeforce legend Dan Henderson.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, maybe top 5 all time, at least top 10.
He's absolutely he beat, the man who most consider the greatest heavyweight mixed martial artist of all time in Fedor Emelianenko. And that's not typically Dan Henderson's weight class.
Totally. I mean, he's jumped from middleweight, light heavyweight to heavyweight and back on down. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were even mentioning in the fight that Hendo maybe drops back down to middleweight. I really don't know what's left for him. He's almost like in that era where Forrest Griffin and like Rich Franklin were doing non-meaningful fights anymore. He's not going to fight for a title anytime soon.
No, not especially
ever
now.
Again, I should say.
I agree with you.
That being said, though, I'm always excited to see the H-bomb. You just never know when it's going to come out. I'll pay to watch some Henderson fight.
Me too. He has defeated and even knocked out legends. Fedor Emelianenko, Wanderlei Silva. Although Chris Lieben knocked out Wanderlei Silva. That brings us to Ellenberger and Robbie Lawler, which was the closest matchup, at least in terms of the odds of the top 3 fights on the card, the big ones.
I came into the fight thinking that Ellenberger had a real shot of just pounding away a tough decision, but I thought like his wrestling was going to be a factor, and I thought he could stand with, to be honest with you, with Robbie Lawler. But man, Lawler looked tough. His combos were great. He just Ellenberger looked hesitant from the beginning, like right off the bat. Lawler came in with those leg kicks, and that
body
really
shots
seemed to scare him. And Ellenberger for the first, maybe even the whole first round, just looked like he did not want any part of it. I don't know if it was maybe trying to measure him up or whatever. But
there was Rogan was alluding to the fact that perhaps his right hand, his power right.
That was in the second round, I believe, like when Ellenberger that was like his best offensive part of the night, where he actually stunned Robbie Lawler there for a minute.
Was it?
Yeah, it was I think it was an overhand right, and it caught him on the top of the head. If that's what Joe Rogan was correct. I didn't get to see the replay of it, but he was grabbing his hand like the rest of the fight.
He was. I did see that.
He kept trying to throw it, man. He was throwing that.
He did.
Broke up hand, but Lawler looked great.
Lawler looked great.
The finish was amazing. I mean,
he was. He was moving his head. He was finding angles, not just standing straight in front of Ellenberger, but he was stalking Ellenberger for a majority of the fight. A lot of people I talked to were telling me that Ellenberger was going to be knocking Robbie Lawler out. I tried to tell people that, not that this necessarily means that Robbie Lawler is going to win, but he did look great against Johnny Hendricks,
which is one of the probably the best punchers in the weight class.
Heaviest hands in the welterweight division, maybe. Him, Tyron Woodley, Robbie Lawler, of course, and Jake Ellenberger. Yeah. Freak power. I was trying to tell people, well, if he went 5 rounds with the current champion at welterweight, Johnny Hendricks, what's Ellenberger going to have? That I thought that Robbie Lawler would win convincingly.
So let me ask you, though, where does this leave Lawler? I mean, he's coming off a loss to Hendricks. He won this fight pretty decisively. You're looking at Tyron Woodley fighting, who was it?
Rory McDonald.
Rory McDonald. So that's, 2 and 3?
2 and 3. Rory McDonald's number 2.
So does Lawler fight the winner of that? And then because Hendricks is coming off of a bicep surgery, so he is going to be out for a while.
You're right. How about this? Because apparently Dana White feels that Matt Brown needs to win another fight. I've heard the rumors about Nick Diaz being offered a fight against Matt Brown. I would love to see that. I'm a huge Nick Diaz fan. I love his style. He wants to finish fights. BJJ black belt under the Gracies, or Cesar Gracie in particular. Richard Perez is his boxing coach, Nick Diaz, and he is a wonderful boxer. Terrific.
I would love to see it. I don't think it's going to happen, man. Nick Diaz is coming up with some crazy demands and wants a
more
huge
money.
Payday. And,
good for him, I guess. But I'm going to be kind of selfish here and say that I would just take the pay cut because I want to see Nick Diaz fight.
Oh, totally.
And Matt Brown is one of my favorite fighters right now. What happens with Matt Brown and Robbie Lawler now?
I think that's a great matchup right there.
I think it's a great matchup.
Just have those two guys fight and have
brawlers.
Woodley and Rory McDonald go at it.
Love it.
See who comes out of that unscathed. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think anyone's coming out of that fight, any of those fights unscathed. Yeah,
it's going to be a war. I love it.
No, I think that's a great fight. If when Nick Diaz refuses that fight against Matt Brown, I would love to see Robbie Lawler.
I think Matt Brown deserves it, man.
He does.
He's paid some dues. He's on a 6-fight win streak.
7-fight win streak now. In the UFC.
Yeah.
And for those of you criticizing Matt Brown and saying, oh, but he hasn't beaten any, ranked contenders. Well, he just beat, I think that Eric Silva was ranked number 14.
Which
going
was
into that
unjust.
fight.
I think he's a beast. He's an up-and-coming fighter that I think he could have easily been dropped or moved up to where Matt Brown is right now if he would have won that fight.
Absolutely. The problem with Silva is that he's very inconsistent. I think now he is 2-3 in the UFC. He wins very convincingly, and then he loses. He just got knocked out by Dong Young Kim, and now he's been knocked out by Matt Brown. I think he's a very talented fighter, Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner?
Eric Silver. Yeah, Taylor Lautner from...
I got it.
I'm sorry. That's a little... don't criticize me too much. It's not my fault. I don't seek out to watch the Twilight films. It was an ex-girlfriend. Yeah, it was an ex-girlfriend that made me watch those. No, for real though. Seriously. Real talk.
Can't wait to read the tweets on this one.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone's going to be tweeting about it.
Well, we're not famous yet, dude. We put in 30 minutes of great talk right now.
But yeah, I can't wait to read your comments.
We promise to get better. This is our first go. We're going to get better every time.
Absolutely, and this is awesome because what a first podcast for us. In the wake of UFC 173, and even, like you said earlier, Matt Brown and Eric Silva, that in Cleveland, that was a great card, and that was a great fight, obviously. So yeah, I would love to see Robbie Lawler back to that fight against Matt Brown. And actually, what I was going to say earlier is that 7-0 in the UFC, Matt Brown is. Give him a title shot now.
Absolutely.
No, that's not going to happen. Most likely, the winner of Tyron Woodley and Rory McDonald will be getting the title shot, and then probably
he's got to be close to next in line. I gotta imagine, but Lawler's still waiting around.
Lawler's waiting. That's why I agree with you. I think that's a great matchup because winner of Rory McDonald and Tyron Woodley gets the next title shot, and then why don't you face off Matt Brown against Robbie Lawler? And then the winner of that gets the next title shot.
Yeah.
Whoever, wins the title shot there.
Let's get Dana on the line, man, and just set this thing up. I think we've got it all set up right now.
I think you're right. Yeah, that's good.
So yeah. Dana, when you listen to this podcast, I know you will. Remember, Pat and Sean said it here first.
That's right, Dana. Please make it happen. You're doing a great job, Dana.
While you're at it, we would love to go see a fight live.
Yeah, Dana. I saw that Donnie Q, or who was who was it that was tweeting? It was some hip hop artist, Sonny Q, was tweeting that he would like
Sonny D.
Yeah, Sonny D. I'll have to look that up. Maybe include that in the notes later. Who that? I don't know. Some hip hop artist. Maybe some of you guys can leave a comment. I'm not going to look it up. You guys will know. You guys can tell us.
Hopefully, we just got a sponsor out of that. I'll say High C up in there. V8. That's his posse. High C and V8.
So yeah. Please, Dana, if you listen to this. Dana, you're listening right now. I know you are, because this is Viking MMA.
LMNOP.
This is Viking MMA, and why wouldn't you be listening to Viking MMA, Dana? Viking. Yeah. Shameless plug right there. Sunny D. Oh shit. Okay. Wow. No, I agree with you, Sean. That's great. I'd love to see Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown.
Totally.
But I think he deserves Matt. I think Matt Brown. Actually, I think Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown deserve title shots. But welterweight now, with GSP vacating the title or having vacated the title, I think now all of a sudden you just have, it's such a stacked division, like lightweight. And you were actually saying earlier that lightweight is your favorite weight class.
Yep. Stacked.
It is. You have Nurmagomedov rising through the ranks. Yeah, rising through the ranks, dominating everyone. Just recently, dominated Rafael dos Anjos. So, yeah, that's a great. Yeah, lightweight's amazing. Yeah, there were some other interesting things. Chris. Okay, so yeah, Team Alpha Male. 2-0 tonight. We're talking about, of course, still UFC 173. Holdsworth. I know you didn't see the fight.
Having dinner with the wifey and kids, got held up. Looked at the clock, thought I had plenty of time. Looking up on my last bite of Mongolian barbecue, and realized I had about 15 minutes before the main card started, and I ran a couple lights to get to my boy Patrick's house. So
nice. Missed
the whole undercard. I recorded it, so maybe I'll add some stuff later. But
that's your family, though. That's good.
Yeah,
good for you. I don't have a family, so I don't.
Cue in the sad music right now.
That's right. Violins. So you didn't see that fight, Chris Holdsworth.
Big fan, though. I love Holdsworth.
I do too.
I think he has a mad potential.
Absolutely. I loved him. I loved watching him on that last season of The Ultimate Fighter. He beat Davey Grant. Actually, he beat everyone, I think, via rear naked choke. One of them was a standing rear naked choke,
against the cage.
A la Uriah Faber.
Yeah.
What he did to Ivan Menjivar. Not recently, but yeah. So holds it down. Holdsworth looked great. Didn't get the submission. He did attempt an arm triangle submission twice, and then also attempted several rear naked chokes. Got the body triangle, the figure four, the body lock, whatever you want to call it. I'm not actually a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, so I'm sure that that's another thing that you can ridicule me for. If you're listening to this, you can correct me. I'm very humble. I don't know it all. Chris Holdsworth looked great. He did. He looked great against Chico Camus. His striking, needs some work, and hopefully Martin Campman or whoever is the new coach for Team Alpha Male can work on that with Chris Holdsworth.
Get some better stand-up going.
Yeah, because he's 5'11" in the bantamweight division.
Wow.
And he was fighting Chico Camus, and I think he's around 5'5", 5'6". And Chico Camus was actually getting the better of the stand-up exchanges. Chico Camus was the one getting inside of that long reach advantage, the long reach of Chris Holdsworth. And so Holdsworth kept getting it to the ground, attempting his submissions. So, but he did win in dominant fashion. I think it was unanimous decision, 30-27. There were some other notables. Tony Ferguson looked awesome. He was fighting some dude, a debut fighter, some Japanese guy. It was his debut in the UFC. And
his exit.
I mean, unless he, learns to keep his hands up. I don't remember the poor gentleman's name, but it was basically like Tony Ferguson was shooting fish in a barrel. That's what it looked like. It looked like Nate Diaz in Strike Force. Nick Diaz in Strike Force. Nick Diaz just teeing off, standing,
doing whatever he wants, standing up,
just putting on a boxing clinic. So I think that wraps it up for 173.
Well, hold on. There was one other notable I just wanted to mention was the Varner-Kraus fight, where Varner's ankle. For anyone who's ever played basketball, you're gonna twinge it right when you see it. Kraus hit him with a kick. He tried to check it, but it caught the back end of his ankle, so it flipped it upside down. When he tried to stand on it, he totally sprained it sideways, stepped on it 3 times on the backside of his foot, and he just could not plan after that. It was a valiant effort for Varner to try to make it through that first round. But
absolutely. Tons of heart.
He even got a takedown or 2, I believe.
He did, yeah.
Like, he looked good, but there was just no way, no getting out of it. He broke his ankle. He was saying that right at the end of the first round. There's no way he was going to get out of it. But
no.
And that was going to be a good fight. I was really interested to see how Kraus would do with a higher competition. I'm a fan of Jamie Varner. He had a
Me too.
really tough fight against the Killer.
The Killer, Abel Trujillo.
One of my young buck favorites right there. But
yeah, me too.
Jamie Varner, he's a beast, man. He's got hands. He's got good wrestling. He's got a package. He's gonna have a tough comeback though. I think he really needs to win his next couple fights. I think even his UFC contract could be at stake. I think if he doesn't win the next couple fights.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a tough break for him.
Literally.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Killer, Abel Trujillo.
We'll spend more time talking about favorites on one of our next podcasts when we get a little more prepared. This card was amazing. We wanted to give you some of the play by play on that.
We wanted to discuss and discuss some of the fights because it was like you said, such a great card.
We have some amazing fights coming up too. I'm really stoked for that July 5th fight card with Weidman Machida leading the way. It's stacked. Like I feel like it's midway through Christmas. I'm like, it's my early Christmas present because it's the whole main card.
We're skipping. That's, by the way, that's not the next pay-per-view event. That's 175. So you're skipping 174.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. I'm looking down at my paper with some of my notes on here, and I just listened to some of these names: Weidman Machida, Rousey Davis. We got Sonnen Silva with the grudge match of all grudge matches right there.
Yes.
Uriah Faber coming back against Alex Caceres. I think that'll be an interesting fight. Yeah. Stefan Struve coming back from his heart ailment, fighting Matt Mitrione. I mean, it's just stacked head to toe. I love it.
That is. The main event is worth the price of admission alone. Do you want to talk about 175 or do you want to backtrack, go to 174?
We can backtrack. That's fine.
Obviously, there's some other Fight Pass fights and Fox Sports 1 cards coming up in the near future. One of the notables that I'm interested in, and you had mentioned how you love the lightweight division. We got Donald Cerrone fighting against Jim Miller.
Oof.
Yeah, Donald Cerrone is a BJJ black belt, if I'm not mistaken, and has pulled off some really awesome submissions, including the most recent one. I think it was against who was the guy that stepped in to fight? Didn't he? Yeah, he did. Because he knocked out with a head kick. Donald Cerrone knocked out Edson Barboza recently. Yeah. And then after that, he fought someone else. I think it was another Brazilian. But he just, like a spider, sunk his hooks in and then got that rear naked choke, if you remember that. So, and Jim Miller, someone just stepped in to fight. I think Jim Miller was going to fight someone else. At any rate, that's going to be an awesome matchup. At lightweight, so that's on one of the Fight Pass or Fox Sports 1 cards, and they're ranked Donald Cerrone is working his way back up, by the way. He's ranked number 5 currently in the lightweight division, and Jim Miller's ranked number 7. So I think that's an awesome fight. And then coming up also in the lightweight division, you have number 2 Benson Henderson, former champ, against Rustam Khabilov. I think
I'm glad you said it, not me, because I can't do those Russian names.
And don't scold us too much if he's Ukrainian and not Russian. We were talking about 175.
You're stupid if you miss this fight.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not a fan of mixed martial arts if you don't want to see that. But you all want to see it. 2 title fights. Chris Weidman's first title defense against a non-Anderson Silva fighter in Lyoto Machida, and Ronda Rousey defending her title for the 4th time, maybe? Well, she won, I guess she... I just let it out.
We're not editing that. No. That is staying.
Some raspberries.
That's Mongolian barbecue for your ass right there.
No,
extra garlic. Woo.
I hope that you all could hear that, because I can certainly smell it. So, holy shit, that is a garlic laced.
That is a Dillashaw right hook to your ass right there.
Woo! Just ripping ass there, which breaks up the monotony of me rambling. No, so yeah, thank you, for that.
I do my best
for ripping ass, adding some flair to our podcast here,
and some shit stains along your wall.
Yeah. So we were talking about 175 and Ronda Rousey defending her title. This would be her 4th title defense if she were to beat Alexis Davis. Alexis Davis is the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt that Ronda Rousey will have faced. And Alexis Davis also has some pretty impressive Muay Thai stand-up. So she looked really good. She really impressed me. This was probably like, I guess, a year ago now. When she fought Liz Carmouche. She looked really good in that fight. So 2 title fights for UFC 175. Get it, or go to a bar, or some homie's house, and freeload, mooch, watch it however, by any means necessary. So yeah, and then backtracking, the next pay-per-view, which is going to be UFC 174 on June 14th. You have the flyweight title fight between Demetrius Johnson and Ali Bagatinov. I think that's how you pronounce it.
That sounds good.
Yeah, Bagatinov. I don't know. That's how I'm pronouncing it.
He's not gonna begot enough to beat TJ.
He does not Bagatinov
to beat the champ.
Yeah, the champ. No, he does not. Ryan Gatekeeper Bader is fighting Rafael Calvicante, the former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion, until he was dethroned by Dan Henderson. That's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I actually hadn't heard of the Bader's opponent, but after you kind of told me some of his past opponents and who he's fought and what he's gone through, like I'm definitely interested to see.
King Mo. He beat King Mo for the Strikeforce light heavyweight champion, knocked him out, to be exact, and then he got knocked out by Dan Henderson. So yeah, we'll see. I think that Calvicante is 1-1 in the UFC. Yeah.
Bader needs a victory like no other right now. He's fallen off the top 10.
Didn't he beat his last opponent? Who was it?
He
really tall gentleman. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't. He won in pretty dominant fashion, though. He did. Good.
I think he submitted him or knocked TKO'd. It was a technical knockout, something. I think what happened was, because he's a former Ultimate Fighter winner, Ryan Bader.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
totally
correct? Yeah. So I think that the UFC, I think that Fertitta and Dana White set him up with a sure victory, just so he could he
Get
could
his
ensure
confidence back up.
Yeah, just so he could, really solidify his gatekeeper status. I think he has a lot of pride, being, the gatekeeper of the light heavyweight division. Sort of like, if if you can beat Ryan Bader, then okay,
you might have a spot.
Yeah, you deserve a place, at least for now, being that division's somewhat weak. You have a lot of. I don't want to say it's weak. I mean, but
once
older,
you get
older
past
fighters,
the top 5, I think it's not.
You got Gustafsson, and you have Rashad Evans, and then Glover Teixeira, and I think Daniel Cormier is number 4.
Yeah.
He might be number 3 now after UFC 173. But yeah, I mean, Dan Henderson was ranked number 6. I love Dan Henderson.
Yeah.
I love Hendo. I have all the respect for him in the world. That comeback, the come from behind victory, knockout actually against Shogun Rua in their second bout was amazing.
Epic fight,
that was awesome. So no, I loved it when he knocked out Bisping. It was amazing when he knocked out Fedor.
That?
Yeah, exactly. So no, Hendo's awesome, but I don't know. I just think that like he's a little past his prime now. Same thing with Shogun Rua. Maybe that's why he got the big 3. But so yeah, Ryan Bader versus Rafael Cavalcante. I think that'll be an interesting matchup. Bader the wrestler, collegiate wrestler, versus Cavalcante, who's of course BJJ fighter, being Brazilian, and I think a Muay Thai fighter as well. So that'll be good. And then we have the return of Andrei Arlovsky. Versus Brendan Schaub. And I think Brendan Schaub just Darce choked. Was it Matt Mitrione?
Yeah. Choked him out. Yeah. So earned his black belt or brown belt, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think they gave
BJJ.
Yeah.
Nice. So that'll be a great card as well. 174. Sean was just excited to discuss UFC 175, and I don't blame him because that's a sick card. And then we have UFC 176 on August 2nd. The main event is Chad Mendes versus Jose Aldo, number 2, their second fight. You had said earlier, I like what you said about that, that I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you had said to me, I think that fight's going to be a lot different than it was the first time, but the outcome is still going to be the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chad Mendes is a beast. Jose Aldo's on another level, man. Well, we said that too about Barao and Dillashaw, but obviously anything can happen in MMA. But Jose is really at another level in that weight class.
And you know what? when Renan Barao heard that Dana White said that he was the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and Renan Barao said, "No, I'm not. Jose Aldo is." Renan Barao was right.
Yeah,
he was right. He is not the best pound for pound fighter.
No,
poor Renan Barao. He will be back. I think that's going to be interesting. Speaking of that, like we didn't even touch on that. We talked at great length about UFC 73. We were recording this actually, by the way, like an hour after UFC 173, after the main event ended. So yeah, we're recording this May 24th. Anyways, we did, so like I said, we discussed 173 at great lengths, but we did not talk about what's going to happen next in bantamweight. Like who is going to get the next title shot? Now it's very interesting. Is Uriah Faber willing to fight his fellow team alpha male?
I could see it. I could totally see it, and I could see Dillashaw going off with Ludwig and what other camp he's going to now.
Yeah.
Uriah keeping his Sacktown home here, and I think Uriah still has at least. I think you're going to see at least 1 or 2 fights in between that, but I could see
obviously one at least.
If Dominic Cruz ever comes back, I think I would like to see Uriah Cruz again. I think that they have some unfinished.
The rubber match, yeah, it's 1-1.
Yep. Who do we got ranked as Rafael?
Rafael Assunção is
the number
ranked,
2.
Is he number 2? So you're right. Uriah is ranked number 1. Currently, Rafael Assunção is ranked number 2. And Rafael Assunção was going to get the title shot tonight against Renan Barão, but was injured. So they offered the fight to TJ Dillashaw, and he accepted. It's insane. I mean, it's
a great story.
It's a great story because all of the other Team Alpha Male members have failed to, get a title. And Dillashaw is the first. Uriah Faber's always said, like, I think that Dillashaw is going to be a champion one day. It was really great. I liked to see, you saw Uriah's reaction after that first right that landed and knocked Renan Barão on his ass in the first round. Uriah was standing up. He was, I
missed the expression because I had flipped out of my chair.
That's true.
I could not believe what was going on.
Yeah. So you have, this is, of course, these are, of course, the pre-UFC 173 rankings, but in the bantamweight division. But you have Rafael Assunção number 2, as we mentioned. Michael McDonald number 3, still a great fighter, but he's been beaten by Barão.
What's Michael McDonald's nickname? Is it Backney?
I think it's Celibacy. Michael Celibacy McDonald. For those of you that don't understand why I said that, no, he I thought it was interesting. I'm sure a lot of fighters do this, but I do this against my own will. But Michael McDonald chooses to abstain from sex with his girlfriend,
leading up to fights.
Yeah. So Michael Celibate McDonald. TJ Dillashaw was number 4. Now he's the champion. So, I guess, does Eddie Wineland go up? No, I don't.
A devastating knockout.
I wonder if, so Johnny Eduardo is ranked number 12, or was ranked number 12. And then you have Dominic Cruz is still number 9. I don't know. That's not really relevant. Mike Easton, number 8. Yuri Alcantara, number 7. And then Takeya Mizugaki, who just won tonight, and he'll probably go up to maybe number 5 or 4. So that's that's an interesting division now, I think, because where's Renan Barão going to go? He's probably going to be maybe number 1 or 2.
Yeah. There you go.
Now what will he be ranked at?
What's the guy's name that knocked out Eddie Wineland? He just knocked him out.
That's Johnny Eduardo.
I'm interested to see him fight again. He looked amazing against Eddie Wineland.
And you said that he trains with Jose Aldo and Renan Barão. So yeah. Eddie Wineland
could be looking at an up and coming fighter right there.
Yeah, the bantamweight division that'll be pretty interesting, I think. So yeah, I don't know what'll happen there. If I'm assuming that Rafael. Well, no, didn't Rafael Assunção and Dillashaw already fight? And I think he lost. So maybe they'll do a rematch now that. I'm pretty sure that Dillashaw lost a decision. Yeah, I think he lost a decision. It was close. Yeah, interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Renan Barão got one fight under his belt and then they gave him a rematch. And then you have flyweight. That's kind of another division. Not that I don't think that there are some talented fighters. Actually, I shouldn't say that because John Dodson's coming up again. I mean, DJ's pretty much kind of burning through everyone in that division. Benavidez twice. He's beaten. He's beaten John Dodson before. He's already beaten John Moraga. Chris Carrizo. That's a flyweight fighter that I'm interested in. I love.
He's looked good.
He's looked amazing. His stand up, I like his combos. He really mixes it up with kicks and punches. And he's very good at getting back up to his feet when he gets taken down. Because I think I've watched a lot of his fights recently, and he's had some trouble, I guess, defending takedowns, but usually he's quick to get back up to his feet. So Chris Carrizo, I think that's an interesting fighter. I really like him. I've been watching him now his last 3 fights, so I see where he goes.
Likes getting into wars too, and that's what I like to see.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown and Nick Diaz. You know,
they come to fight.
They come to fight, and they want to
finish. They're not trying to point out people.
They're not trying to
finish
Rory McDonald a fight. Yeah. So yeah, I think we discussed. This is actually pretty long. I hope that if you didn't listen to the whole thing, that you guys can at least listen to a little bit and. Let us know what you think, good or bad.
We're just two guys talking. We do this at work all the time. We figured let's put it down on a podcast, see if anyone else is interested in what we say. We love MMA. We love watching it. We love talking about it. So, we'll be coming back to you, pretty soon, hopefully for the next big UFC fight. We'll get a little more structure. We'll get better every time.
That's right.
We're just like a fighter, man. We're in training camp right now.
That's right. This is trial by fire. Okay, this is our training. This is our first fight, and I apologize for ranting so incessantly.
I don't apologize for the fart. I'm gonna eat beans next time. We're gonna kick it up a notch.
I don't. You shouldn't apologize for that. That was the most exciting moment probably on this podcast. Thank you to anyone who listened. Like I said, let us know what you think. Good or bad. Positive or negative, thank you, truly. Thank you for listening if you do listen, even if you just listen to 10, 20 minutes. If you disagree, we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you agree, we'd love to hear them. Thanks a lot to anyone who listened. Viking MMA will be back. We'll try, like Sean said, we'll try and get it going pretty soon. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks,
Patrick
guys.
Out.
See ya. Sean out.